Last time I posted a video on some of the best pro apps I could find for the Galaxy Tab S7, and a lot of you seem to like the idea. Now, I'm definitely still in the pursuit of finding even more apps, more pro apps for that matter, since they're pretty tough to find on the Play Store, but after reading through some of your comments, here are the top recommendations that I have tested and actually ended up liking, with some caveats, with one being very meh. But let's go ahead and dive right in with some more pro apps for your Tab S7. Before we continue, I just want to remind you that we have a Twitch channel where we stream every Friday and Saturday from 8 p.m. and to 10 p.m. Eastern time, so why not go ahead and drop a follow? And also don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and also make sure to check out the merch store. There's plenty of black and white sweetness to choose from up there, so go ahead and check that out. And then make sure to take a look at the podcast as well, as the podcast always goes live every Wednesday and Sunday. And with that said, enough rambling, let us get straight into the video. Before anything, I wanted to quickly talk about the recommendations that I couldn't find on the Play Store. Things such as a proper version of Procreate, which was just Procreate Paint, a free app with tips on how to use Procreate on the iPad Pro. This app is useless and feels more like a troll with all of the ads, so just ignore it if you see it. I couldn't find Clip Studio either, and maybe that's actually downloaded from somewhere else, and there were a handful of other ones, but here are the ones that I actually found on the Play Store and that I'm able to actually comment on today. And first, let us begin with Krita. I don't know how that's pronounced. This is a drawing/animation app, and on the surface it does look pretty professional. It almost looks like a desktop app, and I think that's my main issue with this app, even though it's something that normally I would really like, because it affects the overall look and feel of the UI. At first, it looks like a free, professional piece of software that presents you with a lot of tools, and it actually sold me on it at first. But upon using it for a little bit longer, I came across too many bugs on my end, and I can see it being pretty cool for drawing, but not for making animations. Drawing feels a bit sluggish because of the poor palm rejection here. I would end up leaving thick dots, I would rotate my image by accident, and pressure sensitivity felt a little limited here. I was not a big fan of it, either because the UI just feels so cramped. It's unfortunate because I felt like there'd be a lot of potential here, but you may actually have a much better experience with the larger version of the Tab S7, as you'll have a lot more headroom for the UI and for your drawing space, but I would not recommend it if you're using the smaller Tab S7 as I am in this video, and well, just in general. It's just not worth it in that way, but hey, I thought that it was still worth mentioning because I think that it could still work if maybe you had the right Tab S7. And Nomad was a piece of software that genuinely surprised me. This is a 3D modeling app with enough tools to make some neat stuff happen. Now, this is a lot more like Blender than it is like Maya or Cinema 4D, so those are not going to be a replacement for those at all, but it's such a smooth running app, and I'm honestly impressed and surprised that it is free. It's an app with a learning curve for sure, and I probably wouldn't recommend it for true gigs, but I like this more as a practice tool. It is a really good practice tool though, so I'm happy recommending this app as it is, though I wouldn't necessarily recommend it as your only app for doing 3D work. I think that it's really good for starting or for maybe doing some smaller projects along the go, since the interface is mostly only touch-based. But it is actually pretty easy to manage, which is why I can give it a pretty strong recommendation there. And now, KindMaster, as I'm going to call it, is a video editor that is pretty interesting. So first, it looks pretty barren, but you're also going to find plenty of things that you can do within this app. And it even offers some stock footage that you can actually use for the purposing of, let's say, green screening if you wanted to, and things like that. And I think that that's actually pretty cool. And you can do your usual stuff like cut footage and put things together. You can just do a little bit of audio work if you wanted to, though it mostly works over presets and that kind of thing. Though the UI I would consider to be pretty clunky. A lot of things just seem to be pretty hidden, and overall I don't like the look of it, to be completely honest. There's a paid version that isn't littered with ads like the free version is, and it's fairly affordable at around $28 per year. It might be worth it, but give the free version a try first and see if it's an app that you can get a good hang of, because if not, then it might not be worth the money after all. Though I will say that it does seem quite promising. And then we've actually got Photo Director, which reminds me a lot of Photoshop Express, but this version is free and it's intuitive to use. It's not quite as polished as Photoshop Express, but I prefer this as a free alternative over Photoshop Express as a paid app for sure, because Photoshop Express definitely does not justify the cost. It's still fairly clean and offers a lot of the same tools like color correction primarily. Honestly, it is pretty good, and working with it has been a quick experience. I haven't been extremely delighted with it, but I think it's fine. You'll still come across some ads here and there, which can take you out of the experience, but they're not that intrusive, so hey, go ahead and go for it. And that's pretty much it. I know that there weren't that many apps, but these have been some of your recommendations, the ones that I liked, some mentions of the ones I didn't or couldn't find, and my thoughts on all of these. If this video was helpful to you, then do make sure to leave a like and comment below if you discovered any more free apps along the way that you think that I should go ahead and try out, or if you think that I was misusing any of these apps. I'm definitely open to feedback from you guys. And it is worth noting that if you're interested in purchasing the Tab S7, then I'll be making sure to leave affiliate links down to Amazon in the description. And don't forget that Luster is also a great option if you need a tool or some help looking for sales or maybe just some lower prices that aren't just on Amazon. If you end up using Luster, it is a tool that is going to help you out quite a lot in your purchasing journey. So if that is something that you feel like that you could use a little bit of help with, then do make sure to drop by and install it on your browser. It's not intrusive, and I think that it is pretty awesome. I use it all the time, so I can really recommend it. And also don't forget that we've got the Tech Summit podcast that we did start pretty recently, and I think that it's something that you might enjoy, and we're always looking for feedback. So do make sure to stop by every Wednesday and Sunday, as those are going to be posted, or just subscribe in order to be notified and you won't have to remember any dates. Also, don't forget that there is a Twitch channel that I like to stream to every Friday and Saturday from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And usually every time that I review a new microphone, there's going to be usually a live review being done on that same night, which is pretty cool. So do make sure to stop by. Also, make sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, because those are necessities as well. And with that said, this has been Francisco from Tech Summit. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be seeing you all later. Enjoy.